legitimately working on that as personal growth, but this movie was not good.
Oh, this movie's a fucking war crime.
This movie is okay, anyway, welcome to Movie the Podcast. That's right, Movie the Podcast. It is the final week of WWE Easter. I don't think... God. Is there 31 days in April?
Is it? I have a question for the group.
Just 30.
Thank God.
Is it okay to retire this month after this?
Yes.
Yeah, but you might be right, yeah.
I was thinking about that earlier. Like, we have cumulatively watched since I don't know if you guys had a WWE Easter before I came out.
No, I don't think.
But this is 7 years of it, so at least 28 movies.
That's too many.
Yeah.
I mean,
and there's so many other like themes we can open up in it.
That's fine.
Yeah, we
see zombie movies.
All the good shit out, right? Like, I mean, there's nothing left. This vein is dry.
I mean, we watched 28 movies. That's a lot.
That's a whole month of watching it every day.
Yeah. Oh my God, could you imagine if that was like a criminal punishment?
Oh,
like literally, we're giving you WWE.
Criminal punishment.
You gotta watch a WWE movie every day.
You have to watch.
I mean,
you have to watch Pro Wrestlers versus Zombies all day.
Not for nothing. There were a couple of gems. Like there was a couple of things that were kind of good, right?
Yeah, we
are.
Suburban Commando, Eliminators.
Eliminators.
What was the one with King Barrett? Was that Eliminators?
Yeah, Eliminators. That was good. I would go so far as to say that No Holds Barred was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah,
No Holds Barred was fun.
What's the one with Dean Cain and the Big Show?
Oh, Vendetta.
Vendetta. We gave it like 2 or 3, yeah. But yeah, we look back on it fondly, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's how deep the waters we swim.
Vendetta is Citizen Kane compared to this fucking movie.
Citizen Dean Kane.
This movie, nice. This movie sucks.
All right, what did we watch this week, Alex?
We watched Roddy Piper's.
Oh, I would say this is Shane
Douglas's.
This is Shane the franchise Douglas's.
Did anybody
Pro Wrestlers versus Zombies in a movie that makes no sense?
Realize that this was a Troma film?
Not until the credits started, and
when it started, it said Lloyd Kaufman, but then it was like Nighthawk Productions or Dangerous Night Crew presents. Like what
was it called? Like
there was a guy named Camera that produced it.
Yeah, well,
Paralytic Nightmares or something
like that. Yeah.
So the thing about Troma is that Troma, they're like any other distribution house. Like they bought, like this is something that now this is either something that they bought to distribute, or this happens, and this is probably what happened here. Sometimes like indie filmmakers, like this guy pays Troma to distribute the movie.
But I don't think this is an indie filmmaker. I think this guy legitimately runs a wrestling promotion, and he used his wrestling promotion to make a movie.
That makes sense. This movie feels like if you've ever seen a independent wrestling promotion at like a fire hall, because it's like all
which we have.
Yes, several times actually. It's
well, like because
the guy, y'all go. It's a lot
the director plays himself in the movie as the wrestling promoter. His name is like Cody Hawks.
Yeah. And
or Hawk.
All right. Anyway, we'll get into it. We have a lot to talk about. This movie.
I thought the one guy was Steve Bannon for like 3 minutes.
Wait, like Steve, the Trump guy, Steve Bannon?
Yeah.
What other Steve Bannon are you aware of?
Like,
I don't know. Good question.
The fat promoter with like the mop head of hair.
Yeah, he does look like Steve Bannon. That is
like I was like, oh, Steve Bannon's in this.
Steve Bannon.
Ooh.
Got some gravitas.
Oh, hell yeah. Michael Flynn's in this.
Yeah. They were fighting a Dominion voting machine at the very end.
Didn't Bannon make most of his money, like, buying the fucking rights to, like, syndicated TV shows? Like, isn't that how he made it?
No, I thought his whole thing was...
He started Breitbart, I thought.
Breitbart. No, Andrew Breitbart started Breitbart.
No, he was part of Breitbart, but I think, like, he made, like, the majority of his money, like, he somehow he got, like, the rights to, like, Seinfeld or some crazy bullshit. So he gets paid every time, like, they show a rerun of Seinfeld. Every
time.
It's on that level, like a Friends or, anyway.
Oh.
What did y'all watch this week? Alec.
I watched 3 films.
Wow.
Holy shit.
3 big ones.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. And it was a lot.
It's more than 2.
The first one I watched was, Fight Club. That's an interesting movie.
Have you ever seen Fight Club before?
I saw it in the theater, and I came out of that
so
energized and angry
for
like 10 minutes until I went to Denny's.
Slam.
Hell yeah.
I think I might have seen it with you, and I think I went to Denny's with you after.
Did you have a hard time going back to it? Because I had an experience like that not that long ago.
To Denny's?
No, Denny's is always great. I'm talking about Fight Club.
Denny's 2 weeks ago, and they changed their menu drastically, and it sucks.
Oh.
Sorry. They don't have moons over Miami anymore.
Whack.
Yeah, bullshit. Anyway, sorry. Fight Club.
Fight Club. The club where they fight. The first rule is
right what it says on the label.
You don't talk about it. That might be my favorite scene of the movie, where he and Meatloaf re-engage like halfway through the movie. He's like, well, first rule about it is I can't talk about it.
He's so good in that movie. Like,
Meatloaf is phenomenal in that movie. Like, I had no idea it was Meatloaf till way after the fact.
He's excellent in that movie, and like his soft-spoken nature. It sucks because Meatloaf turned in. I think didn't he die? He's
dead?
Yeah.
Is he dead?
Before he died, he was like a super right-wing psycho. It's like disappointing.
Yeah. Oh, was he? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Should we call him Meat or Mr. Loaf?
Mr. Loaf. Anyway, sorry.
It's an interesting movie to go rewatch. Because, like, David Fincher, I'm not a huge David Fincher fan.
Boo.
I am.
Honestly, what else has he done?
7.
I know he did,
7?
The X-Men credits.
Really?
No. It's just like, it's like a David Fincher thing, like that Fight Club credit scene, and it's like the same thing from the X-Men credit scene, and I think Zodiac, maybe?
Yeah.
I think Zodiac's like a legit masterpiece. Like, I'm in the tank for Zodiac.
He did Zodiac.
I've never seen Zodiac, but the
Alien 3.
The girl with the dragon tattoo is not good.
I don't
know. The original one's not good either.
I thought the original one's better than his remake.
Fair.
But it's still, I didn't think they were that great. But those original ones aren't like actual movies, were they? Weren't they like Swedish television movies?
No, they were real movies. They also weren't very good, and I watched all of them for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
They were, you know what? His remake is very similar to the original film. Like, it's just, it has like the same, like, I don't know. I don't want to get into that movie.
It's like a bad cover song. You know what I mean? It's like, we're just doing the same song.
Well, it has, like, I think that movie has pacing issues, and, like, the remake has the same problem, and it's like, why did you do that? I don't know. There's parts of that movie I like. Like, he's got a visual style that I really enjoy. Like, I like The Game, and I liked, you know, I like the
movie. Game. Is that with Michael Douglas?
Yeah. I like Mindhunter a lot, the TV show he made. Like,
terrible title.
Terrible title, great show, though. Did you ever watch it? It's really good.
No. I'm a big fan of Holt McClenney. But anyway, I'm sorry, Alec. Go ahead about Fight Club.
Done now.
Yeah, no.
It got shit canned.
Alex, you're not a big fan of Mank?
No.
Why did he make that movie?
Oh, I thought you meant Monk, the TV show. I was like, that sounds like an Alex show.
No, I meant Mank, the story,
okay.
The guy that wrote Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
The movie that Brian Cranston made. Huh?
Was it Bryan Cranston?
No, it was Gary Oldman.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like that movie I'm writing about the guy that was the key grip on E.T. Like, who gives a shit?
I actually gotta watch that.
I don't know. Fight Club, I liked it a lot when I was younger, and I still kind of like it, but the movie, I feel like, suffers a lot knowing that, spoiler alerts, Ed Norton is Tyler Durden.
What?
It suffers a lot for that. It's kind of like the M. Night Shyamalan movies, like a Sixth Sense, and if you know the twist and you're kind of looking for it the whole time, it's not nearly as, like, impressive.
I can definitely see that.
I think the biggest problem
the most impressive thing about it is that
Helena
Bonham Carter's ability to the entire time act like Ed Norton is insane because he keeps talking about Tyler.
Yeah, well, she was married to Tim Burton, so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I never noticed before how she's the only one who refers to them as two different people.
Yeah.
Or as that they're the same person, rather. Where it's like obvious when you watch it again, you're like, oh, she like she gives you the whole thing if you're like paying attention.
Yeah, she's really good in that movie.
Yeah, she is really good in it. Everybody's really good in it. Yeah. Like, it's a well acted movie all around. Like, everybody's phenomenal. Like, Ed Norton's great. It might be Ed Norton's like best work.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, besides Birdman, probably.
Oh yeah, Birdman.
Oh yeah,
I love Birdman.
Yeah,
I thought that was really good.
I think my biggest problem with Fight Club, not that you asked, but I'm going to say anyway, is that like the book like is really explicit about who Tyler is and how that's not something to aspire to. And even though the movie has the same content, like the movie frames it a little differently, and I think it kind of throws the messaging off.
I agree. Also, like, I don't know. It's the same. It's the.
Also, don't read the sequel graphic novel because it'll make you not like either the book or the movie. Yeah, I know.
It's the American Psycho thing, right? Like, people like get the wrong message from that idea, like that character. Like, I mean,
you and Gogs or you and Alec that went to that thing? Oh,
me and Gogs, when he put out that book Pygmy, and like this kid had this really long like soliloquy about like Tyler and Chuck Palahniuk was like, I'm sorry, but like you got like the completely wrong message from what I was trying to say. Like, and he's like, I'm not trying to be rude, but like you're just wrong. And it was kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think movies just inherently do that. Like, I mean, you know, Brad Pitt is cool. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard not to. Cool. I mean, but that's also the point, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, anyway, I'm a big fan. I'm in the bag for that movie. I've talked about it a lot. I don't know. There's just something inherently like really. It's like what's that thing we used to always say? It's like it's a movie for guys that like movies.
For like, dudes that like bros.
It's just a
movies for guys who like movies and don't understand the themes of movies.
It's just it's just like, to me, like that movie is just like cool. It's just a cool, like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, it's just, I just think it's cool.
I mean, it is cool. It is very slick and like everything is so polished, but also like that house is so fucking gross.
Oh my
God.
It
was giving me anxiety. Just like when I watched it, like initially, like I didn't care. I was like, oh, that's
it's disgusting.
Whatever. Watching it now, like I was like, ugh.
Like I think about that dialogue a lot, where it's like, well, what do I do next? I don't know. Start a family. It's like, I can't start a family. I'm a 30-year-old boy. Like,
I feel that, and I'm much older.
Yeah.
Anyway,
anything else, Mr. Alec? Oh, you got two more.
Two more flims.
Watch Fight Club again.
Nice.
Yeah, I watched it backwards.
I'd also recommend reading. I know we're a staunchly anti-reading podcast, but read the book. It's pretty good. The book is good, and you get a little.
Any of his books.
You get a little something different from the book than you do the movie. Also, he writes in a very like. He reminds me of Sean's writing because he writes like very quickly and it's like easy to read. Like I don't mean
there you go.
No,
I'm fast books for morons.
Well, but I did it on purpose. Like, that's why I write, because, like, reading is boring. My secretary today, we got some, this whiteboard that you could hook a computer to. I was like, well, how does it work? She's like, well, I'll get the manual. I was like, what does that sound like? And she goes, reading. And I said, what's that for? And she said, rich people. I said, goddamn right about reading anything.
That's hell yeah. Love that.
Plug it in. I'll figure it out.
Yep.
Anyway, continue. Sorry.
The next movie I watched was Super Troopers.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
It was fucking rocks.
Like repeating like
you're doing all the bangers. Late 90s bangers.
Hell yeah, man. Super Troopers fucking rocks.
To go ride on Uncle Rabbit's lap. I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah, that's not such a good idea there.
Alec, is it your favorite Broken Lizard?
I don't know, man. Beer Fest is so good.
So good.
It might be just because it was like so shocking how much I loved it. Because like I'd never heard of those guys. That movie kind of it was almost promoted like it was almost promoted like not like a joke, but like
like
made
a fucking
for, like a Comedy
movie.
Central made for Comedy Central movie. But like, God, that shit's so fucking good.
I'm kind of still into the Slammin' Salmon.
The Slammin' Salmon, I have like there's a special place in my heart for Michael Clark Duncan and the Slammin' Salmon.
I like Salmon.
I like all their movies. I think the Slammin' Salmon is the weakest.
Did you watch
Did you watch Club Dread?
Club Dread sucks.
almost decapitated him.
Poor Gogs has always tried to defend Club Dread, but it's just not very good.
It's not very good.
Super Troopers is fucking spectacular. It's like I can almost like recite that movie now.
It was a big movie for all of us, like when that came out. Like I remember, like
I almost passed out in the theater laughing so hard.
Yeah, I drove to College Park so I could see it with you. And people were looking at us like we were absolute idiots.
No one else in Greenbelt understood it.
It came out in like, I want to say it came out in like 99.
Was that pre Reno 911?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Oh, absolutely it was, dude. Reno 911 did not come out till after we had graduated.
I thought Reno 911 I thought there was Reno 911 in high school. Was there not?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Well,
the state was still kind of in high school almost.
Yeah.
With Super Troopers, Gogs was in college, so it was at least 99 to 2000.
Yeah.
But yeah, that movie's fucking tremendous. The second one's not bad either. It's not as good as the first one, but it's not bad.
It's funny.
And then the third movie I watched was the new Broken Lizard vehicle, Quasi.
How was it?
It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Like, it was fine.
I was a little iffy on the trailer. I was like, I don't know.
Was it like Disney put it out or something weird?
No, I said that because like in the MLB, so for whatever reason, the MLB shows like limited commercials, and they kept showing. Oh, you know what? Now it makes sense because I was watching it through a VPN, so it was saying Disney Plus, so it's probably released like in Canada or whatever VPN I was, whatever IP I was using or whatever.
Yeah, because
in the U.S.
Disney Plus are all the same.
Yeah. So that's why.
Company.
They're owned by the same people.
Yeah, it's not bad. God damn it, I liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I'd say it's probably their weakest movie. But even their weakest movie is still better than a lot of comedies out there.
So wait, it's worse than Club Dread?
I gotta watch Club Dread again. I've only seen that once, and I don't remember hating it.
What's
you guys
the
all
plot?
seem to think it's fucking terrible.
What's the plot of Quasi?
It's basically Quasimodo.
Oh, okay.
It's literally like the same thing. I've never actually
Lunch Black and Plotre Blaine,
or Big Man on Campus, or is that?
I've never actually read The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Is that the movie Big Man on Campus with the fucking hunchback that lives in the bell tower? It came on all the time when we were kids. Yeah, it was like a side out type movie with Bob Maluga. You guys, nothing?
Oh my god, no, I don't remember that. I need to look this up now. I watched the Disney movie a million years ago, the cartoon, because that Esmeralda was super hot.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. But I thought it was pretty good. Definitely not my favorite Broken Lizard movie, but
you didn't know.
They're getting quite an oeuvre now. They got like 6 or 7 movies now.
It's crazy, and you see those guys like they have like TV shows now. Like a couple of those guys have popped up on different things. Like you see,
Kevin Heffernan and Steve Lemmy have a show called Tacoma FD.
I saw
or something.
Yeah,
and it's not. I've watched a few. I've seen a few episodes. It's not terrible.
Yeah.
Jay Cantor, he directs like tons of shit. Like he directs so many TV shows.
I think
he just pops up as like a director on tons of things. We started watching a show. Rob Lowe has a new show on Netflix called Unstable, and he's directed like every episode of that.
Is it just about a guy that shows up at the Super Bowl wearing a hat that just says football on it? Because that seems very unstable.
That's the funniest. That's still the funniest thing ever. Like, just pick a team.
He's dressed like a ref. He likes the refs.
He had a fitted NFL hat.
He's just a big Mike Pereira stan. But I would say check out Quasi. I liked it.
I'll watch it.
I liked it. It's on Hulu. It's short enough.
Well, it's like we were saying too. We're like starved for comedies. Like no comedy movies come out anymore. So it's like,
yeah, stupid Hollywood.
I know. Well, I'll talk briefly about something that I saw a trailer for that looks kind of funny.
That's it. TJ.
I watched 2 things. And real quick, the trailer that I saw that looks kind of funny, and weirdly enough, I saw it in front of both movies. It's called Strays. Have you guys seen the trailer for this?
Oh, it looks really funny.
It looks hilarious. So like, it's about Will Ferrell is this cute little dog, and Will Forte is his owner, and his owner is like an awful drunk that hates the dog. So he abandons the dog in the city. And then Will Ferrell runs into these other stray dogs, and the stray dogs kind of tell him what life is like, and then he decides that he's going to go back to Will Forte and bite his dick off. That's like the whole movie.
Is this an animated film, or is it like
No,
Cats?
they're like
Cats.
It's like a Milo and Otis.
Yeah,
Look Who's Talking.
It's like a Milo and Otis. Hopefully they didn't kill as many dogs.
But they like a shitload of dogs.
I know, it's so depressing. But they like animate their mouths, so they like they're real animals, but they like animate it. It looks funny. I thought it looked pretty funny. It triggered stuff in my lizard brain. I mean, it's just stupid shit like dogs humping things and like drinking beer, and like again, the plot is him biting Will Forte's dick off. I'm like, I'm in. That's checked all my boxes. Anyway, the two things I watched, I liked both of them a lot. I watched the new Ari Aster film, Beau is Afraid.
Oh.
I fucking loved it, but it is a polarizing movie, and I don't care, I sound pretentious all the time. I think this movie is a hilarious case study of like A24 kids that like want to act like they're like artsy and love like, challenging cinema, actually watching an artsy challenging film, and they're like, I don't like this. This movie, like, I don't understand this movie. This movie has an unusual plot structure. Like, I don't know. I loved it, but it's funny to see, like, a lot of these people, they're like, this is nothing like Hereditary. It's like, well, yeah, it's not trying to be, like, it's super fucking weird. It's very long. It's too long. I will admit that. That is my one problem with the movie. It doesn't need to be 3 hours long. No movie needs to be 3 hours long.
Blade Runner 2049.
Is that three? That's not 3 hours.
It's like 249.
It's still under, so points still remain.
You're technically correct. The best kind of correct.
But I really loved it. Like, I think it's the thing is that it's definitely weird, and it's definitely very, very surreal, and it operates like I was talking to Sean a little bit about this analog. At times, like, the world that this movie takes place in reminds me of a Riley Stearns movie, the guy that made Duel, and he made Art of Self-Defense. Like, it's hyper realism kind of.
Is it like stiff in that kind of way too?
A little bit. Yeah. Well, only in Joaquin Phoenix's performance. Everyone else is at 11 and like super weird in like a lot of different ways. And I think the funny thing is that I think the problem that a lot of people have is they're like, I don't understand this and da-da-da-da-da. But I think that the plot itself is incredibly simple. I think it's like a Gogs thing with Southland Tales. Like, I think maybe not, that's a poor example, but like,
yeah, because that movie's confusing because it's badly written.
But this movie is like, it's very, like, the plot isn't A to B, but like the message of the movie, I think, is like super obvious. And I don't know. I think I loved it. I think it's great. It's not for everybody. Like, I'm not going to, it's not like a crowd pleaser. You're not going to be able to get anybody to sit down and watch a 3-hour movie about a guy that basically has an overbearing mother that's like controlling that has kind of destroyed his whole life. That's kind of the whole movie. But it's super weird. There's a lot of cool visual stuff in it. I really enjoyed it. I think Joaquin Phoenix is just a treat. I think like any movie that has him in it automatically gets like a couple of point bumps for me, because like I can't really think of a movie that I've watched him in where
Signs.
Recent movie, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Signs, yes, I'll give you that. weren't you like the home run champion in the minor leagues? You should be sucking toes and fucking women or what was that in that movie? But I really liked it. I recommend it if you're in for something weird. It's kind of like Baby's first Brunwell movie. I mean, that's kind of how it felt like.
Yeah, that's I don't know what
that means at all.
Gogs, go watch the discreet charm of the bourgeois, and then watch
L'Age d'Or, because it's like a movie that's somewhat accessible.
I don't think I could even spell L'Age d'Or.
L'Age d'Or is only like 45 minutes long too. But anyway, I really liked Beau is Afraid quite a bit. Now I'm going to turn to a movie that is much more accessible. I watched Evil Dead Rise.
Hey, before you talk about it, does it have anything to do with that last Evil Dead movie? Because that movie sucks. Okay.
No. And it's not, I thought it was directed by the same person. It is not.
Fede Alvarez?
He has nothing to do with this movie. Okay. It's directed by a guy that's only directed one other movie, and his name eludes me now. And he also wrote this movie. I fucking loved this movie. It was great. My biggest problem with it is, call it something else. They got the Necronomicon, but they don't call it the Necronomicon, first of all. They call it some other silly thing. But, this movie isn't an Evil Dead movie. It's just, a really good horror movie. I thought it was great. The direction's really good. The setting is really good. The way
is it gross? I heard it's gross.
Oh, it's disgusting. It's super violent. Right off the jump. No spoilers, but in the beginning of the movie, this girl gets fucking literally scalped by a demon. She grabs her hair and rips her hair, and her brain is exposed. It's disgusting. I loved it. I was right away. I was
skull.
It's first of all, they do something that is so important that so many horror movies whiff on. I actually care about the characters in this movie. It's not a spoiler to say if you watch the trailers, the primary villain in this movie is the mother that gets possessed by a demon, and then the mother tries to kill the family. But you spend a little bit of time with the mom before this happens, and I legit feel bad for the mom and the kids because it's only a few minutes, but they actually are able to portray they seem like a good family, and she seems like a good, caring mom and sister, and it's I left the theater going, wow, I can't remember the last horror movie where, I gave a shit. I don't know. I loved it. I would definitely watch this again. I thought it was great. Does
Sam Raimi have anything to do with it?
I think he produced it, but no.
Good.
The direction's too good for this to be Sam Raimi. The direction's great. The special effects are at least from my naked eye, they were all practical. They looked wonderful. There's this great moment in the movie where the demon changes into this weird kind of spidery demon, which they barely show, but when they do show it, and they show it crawling and stuff, they literally they don't show its whole body, they just show hands. So it's a real person's, you know what I mean? All the stuff that they showed, hell yeah, Orioles just won.
Hell yeah.
But it was really good. I legit loved it. And I was really apprehensive about it because of what Sean said. I did not care for that original remake.
People fucking love that movie though, and I do not get it.
I've only seen it once. It was in the theater, and I remember not liking it. But I thought Evil Dead Rise was great.
Was it Drag Me to Hell, or was that the remake, or was that a different movie altogether?
That's a different movie. That's a good movie. That's one of the last good Sam Raimi movies. I enjoyed that movie as well. The lead actress that plays the mom, her name is Alessa Sutherland, no relation. I looked it up. I thought maybe, not. But she's great. Not only is she really good at the human side of the character, but when she turns into the demon, she's fantastic. And they did such a great job with her makeup, and whoever cast this, they did a wonderful job, because there's something about people that have kind of elongated faces, and they just nail it. And there's just this creepiness about her that's just so unhinged. I'm kind of bubbling over this movie, but I really enjoyed it. I walked away from it going, wow, I was really surprised how much I liked it. So yeah, I highly recommended it. Especially if you real visceral, gory horror movies, check it out. The weird thing is, if you're expecting like, what does this have to do with the Evil Dead? Like, Evil Dead is like goofy, like horror. Like, there's one kill in this movie that like is a goofy kill, and it seems like they only did it to be like, hey, Evil Dead was goofy, and it's like, it doesn't work. There is a chainsaw and a shotgun in the movie, but their inclusion makes sense overall. And there's one line of dialogue that's lifted from fucking Army of Darkness that's fucking cringy as hell. But like,
is it the boomstick line?
No, it's. I mean, whatever. There's a point in the movie where the main character, who literally has been through absolute hell, is like, "Come and get it." And it's like, or come get some. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that doesn't make any. Like, you only
shop smart, shop as smart.
You only did that. Yeah, that's what you should have said. But anyway, yeah. I totally adored this movie, so I highly recommend it. Check it out; it's great. Apparently, it'll be out on video on demand May 8th, so it'll be. You guys will have it on the Plex in 2 weeks. But great movie. So that's all. Gogs.
I watched 3 films.
Oh my god!
Yeah, no, I really went for it.
Alec.
I know.
That's my new bit.
I like that. That was good.
Thank you.
So the first thing I watched was, well, this is not in the order I watched it, but I'll talk about this easy. The Road Warrior, starring Mel Gibson. That movie rules. That I think there's 2 Mad Max movies officially, and this is one of them. Mad Max doesn't count, and Thunderdome don't count.
This
is what people want.
Thunderdome's okay.
People want just leather-bound boys traveling through the desert at high speed in souped-up cars. That's all they want.
Like that Patton Oswalt bit talking about, was it, I forget who was it, some local like DC critic talking about the Road Warrior. It's like, they're all fighting for gas. They don't have no gas. All they do is drive cars. Don't get it. Don't get it.
0 stars. And I think my favorite little tidbit of trivia from the Road Warrior is that they saw Wes, and they're like, hell yeah, make him go against Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando. And then he shows up as like a fucking tub of lard.
And they had to they put that fucking chainmail
sweater on him. Oh my god.
Well, I think the weirdest part about that is that he shows up like in character in Weird Science.
Oh yeah.
That world like exists in the Weird Science verse. Like,
Weird Science is also about a fully grown lady banging 2 high school boys.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Shout out to Asia Argento.
Oh, God.
I didn't do it.
Fucking Road Warrior rules. I don't know, and maybe I'll defer to Sean. Where does Road Warrior, does Fury Road happen before or after? Because the Interceptor keeps getting blown up.
They're not connected.
Okay, perfect. Well, yeah, I love it.
Having Road takes place in like a tangent universe, I believe.
Like, I had the subtitles on because I'm addicted to him now. So now I finally, like, when they're like having that scene on the ridge, like with him and the gyro captain, and you can't hear the actual things that Humongous is saying, but he's saying the smegma crazies to the left,
the gay boy berserkers. Hell yeah.
Right. I think, for the record, I think George Miller was directly asked if it's a sequel or a prequel, and he's just like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, like, he's just like,
no, the movie's the movie.
Both those movies rule. And
I mean, like, objectively, Fury Road is kind of a remake of, like, it's kind of the same movie.
It's kind of the same, but like, here's the thing. And I don't remember this last time I watched Road Warrior, but I don't remember, like, the extended explanation of Mad Max in the beginning, where they're talking about, like, how the world broke down and people turned to cannibalism. Was cannibalism a big theme in the first Mad? Because they were going on vacation to the beach.
No, because nothing happens in that movie until like the last 5 minutes.
Well, except for that stuntman dying, but
yeah, shout out stuntman.
Yeah, but shout out to the fucking Ayatollah of rock and roll. What a great fucking villain. Thor Humongous to just walk away.
Just walk.
Chris Jericho.
That's where he stole it.
You know what? If that movie had what's the Fozzy song I love so much?
Judas.
Judas. That's just the only thing that would make Road Warrior better. All right,
we'll go back and recut the movie and put Judas in it.
Here I come,
I can't wait till we talk about the movie we watched and overused terrible songs.
Oh,
oh my god!
All right, so
what you talking about? The soundtrack by Sound-Alike Garden?
Nice.
Nice. I forgot that we had to talk about that for a minute.
Strap in, Bill.
I got really sad. He's like,
I forgot why we're here.
I'm counting on my DraftKings winnings. Like, can I retire from the podcast now? Have I made enough? I can retire.
If you made $4, you would make 400% than we've made in the last 8 years.
Yeah, we are deeply in debt.
Yeah, we are in the red.
We have been in the deep red. So the other thing I watched was The Thing, and not the good one like you like. I watched the one that's actually a prequel.
Oh, the Mary Elizabeth Winstead
one. That's a new one?
It was from 2014 or 2011. Yeah. It's not good. It's got that guy who's not Stifler in it. It's got Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Wait a minute, who is the guy that's not Stifler?
He was in Beer Fest.
Yeah, he was one of the Germans in Beer Fest.
Oh, okay.
Like one of the Und Becks, that one.
Operation Steingraber.
That guy looks like Stifler.
Well, no, he's not Stifler.
He doesn't look like
a lot of guys are not Stifler.
I know.
That's correct.
Weirdly, I know exactly the guy you're talking about, but he looks nothing like. He looks kind of just like he's got like long blonde hair. He's like
Eric Christian Olsen.
Yes.
Does he kind of look like a young Cary Elwes?
You know that guy's name?
Because he was in Dumb and Dumber too.
Yes. That's exactly who he's talking about.
He doesn't look anything like. You're right. He's not Stifler.
He's not Stifler. So
I mean, he's still right.
He's got you there.
It's got Joel Everyman in it, and then it's got like a bunch of Norwegians. Oh, and it's got Torben Giantsbane is in it. And it sucks. The movie sucks, and it sucks because it doesn't know what it is. It's supposed to be a Thing movie, and it's just a regular ass monster movie.
So you find out that the Thing's dad was mean to it or whatever. And
the Thing got abused, and then it wanted to fuck its sister, and then it came to Earth, right? And this gelatinous monster can pilot a ship. Like, was it a prisoner in the ship? I have questions, but anyway, the reason the Thing works, right? Because you don't know who the fucking Thing is.
Yeah.
Like this movie, the Thing is just being the Thing the whole time, and it's just all googly boogly, and it's like terrible CGI.
Yeah, isn't that like the antithesis of why the original is good?
Yeah, it doesn't work. Like if I know that you're just if I look down the hall and I see something with more than 7 arms, I'm gonna go, we should probably flamethrow that. Like that's stupid. And
you sum the whole thing up when you're like, I have questions, and the thing is you shouldn't. Like if it was a good I didn't care about the origin of the titular Thing.
No, I loved when they just sort of they went to the Swedish or the Norwegian camp and they're like, oh, it must have come out of the earth. It's fucking dumb. And so don't watch Ramona Flowers of The Thing.
And the original Thing is so good.
The original Thing is so good.
A great movie.
Well, I mean, it's legit one of the best movies ever made.
It is. I don't have tattoos, but if I were to get them, I would get a McCready on this arm and I'd get a Jack Burton on this arm.
You should do that.
I should lift more weight.
Get them on your pecs and make them kiss.
Just like, ooh.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Give me another one of those.
Ooh. So then,
well, that's getting Klim Chimp.
Did Klim Chimp that? Then the last thing I watched was, it was a fucking laugh riot. I fucking watched Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, because I've never seen it before.
Yeah, you only got to watch it once.
Hold on, rewind.
Yeah.
That was a laugh riot.
No, that was a joke. No, it was,
what was the funniest part? The home invasion scene?
The part where someone just gets left in luggage. That movie is fucking dark.
So good.
But what's funny is I just watched a scumbaggy movie and I was like, I didn't care for it. This is a scumbaggy movie that's really well done, and Michael Rooker's
really good
in it.
The guy that plays Otis is really good too. He was in
one of the Rob Zombie movies.
He was in a bunch of Sean probably I can't think of his fucking name, but he's in a bunch of 70s grindhouse stuff and some blaxploitation movies too. Something Tombs, I think, or Tombs. I don't know. The guy's great.
He was in The Devil's Rejects. He was the cop.
Adrian?
No.
Adrian Toomes?
That's from X-Files, was it not?
No, that's from
Adrian Toomes
Spider-Man.
is the fucking Vulture.
Oh, right. You can cure cancer and not turn people into dinosaurs, but I want to turn people into dinosaurs.
Well, that's Sauron.
That's Sauron.
Oh, right. That guy's not a vulture. He's a pterodactyl.
He's a dinosaur man.
Vulture in the comics is basically Mr. Burns in a bird costume.
Fair enough. But anyway, Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Great movie.
Very good. I don't know who directed it.
I want to say, I could be wrong, but I think that guy is one and done. I think that guy made one fucking movie and that was it.
It is. I'm kind of amazed that movie got put out in anything. That movie's fucked up, but it's something.
It was made by John McNaughton, the director of Wild Things, and a movie.
Oh, I was completely wrong. Yeah. Mad Dog and Glory.
Normal Life with Ewan McGregor, I think. That was pretty good, if I recall.
Also, Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer has my favorite tagline of any movie ever on the poster. He's not Freddy, he's not Jason, he's real. Yeah. Which I thought was awesome, because he's actually not real. He's like a Hannibal Lecter. He's like an amalgamate of like a bunch of different, like Henry Lee Lucas and Ed Gein and like a couple of other serial killers. But like, I think probably the best serial killer movie in my humble opinion.
It felt a lot like Man Bites Dog, but like it's super good, and Michael Rooker is just like, he's so good in it. Like, Michael Rooker, I think, is probably one of our most underappreciated actors.
Oh, I completely agree. Yeah. He's really good. I mean, I'm glad, like, it seems like now he's getting a lot of shine. Like, because of James Gunn, obviously.
Yeah.
But, like, he was great in, back when I cared about the show, like, and he wasn't in it that long, but he was great in Walking Dead when he was Daryl's brother or whatever. Like, anytime he shows up in something, like, I think we all enjoyed the movie, but that Belko experiment when he shows up for 20 minutes, he's in that. He's great. Like, he's always
great in Slither. He's great in fucking Guardians. He's great in He's great in Mallrats.
Oh yeah, he's awesome in Mallrats.
He's in Society for a minute, isn't he?
Is he in Society?
I thought so.
I don't remember.
He's great in Cliffhanger.
Oh, forget it. Love Cliffhanger.
Anywho.
Shocked we've never done Cliffhanger on the show.
We didn't?
No.
Oh.
I love that movie. All right, anything else?
That's it, Sean.
Oh, that's me. I'm Sean. Hello, you.
Hello, Sean.
I watched one movie.
Hell yeah.
That's half of what TJ watched.
Oh God, I hope it's what, did you watch what I asked you to watch?
It's possibly the best movie I've ever seen. I don't know. I watched a movie in the language of cowards. It's called Smoking Causes Coughing, which is a movie TJ talked about.
Oh my God, what'd you think?
It's so fucking good, but it's so weird, and I don't know that I can recommend it to literally anybody, because the movie has it's structured like an anthology, but the anthology parts have nothing to do with anything. And
true.
It's like, I know TJ talked about it a little bit. It's like a spoof of the Power Rangers, like a very effective one, but it's so just off the rails, but it's like also weirdly sweet, but also super dark. And
it's everything at once.
He talked about their boss, the rat puppet, which now that I saw it, I kind of get why he couldn't nail down what it looks like. But it's the whole time it's flapping to them, it's drooling this green slime, and it's just as they keep cutting back to this puppet, it's just puddles of this shit on it. And fucking
and both the girls want to fuck. Well, the one girl
has fucked him.
Yeah, and the one girl wants to fuck him, and then she's like, "Oh, you need to ditch him. He's just a gross rat." And then you find out that she's already fucked the rat.
Bro, and every time they cut to him, he's got to go to a dinner meeting where he's just got some other broad. And they go to this fucking retreat in a giant white dome to get their teamwork back together, because, and then you find out Lizardan, the lizard from another dimension, is going to blow up the Earth for reasons that are not explained.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're telling ghost stories. And the one story is about this girl that's at a party that puts on this helmet that allows her to think clearly.
Yeah, it's a sensory deprivation helmet.
I can't go into all of it, but the second, the leader catches a fish. And he's cooking this whole mackerel on a stove, an open burner stove. I'm talking a whole mackerel, not cleaned or anything. He just wanders out with it. And as they're cooking, it pops up and it's like, "Hey, I have a story." And the story that the fish tells is fucking hysterical. I don't think I've laughed so hard in a movie. And mild spoilers, I guess. I don't know who's gonna watch this. 'Cause I don't know if I can really recommend it to anybody on the show. Maybe Nate would.
I'm gonna watch it again if that counts.
But there's this woman and her nephew who's in this industrial accident. The nephew, but I can't get into it. But it's so fucking funny and gross. And by the end of the story, he is a sentient bucket
of blood and guts. Yeah,
and a mouth.
Yeah.
Like, oh god, it's so fucking funny. And then they get this robot that's like a newer version of their other robot, but he sucks, and they just walk around talking about how much the fucking robot sucks all the time.
Yeah, and the first robot kills itself, and they're like, "Oh, that's fine. That's in the robot's programming to kill itself." Oh,
and like,
I'm glad you
liked it. The literal end of the world, and like, the one woman won't stop like touching her tits every 5 seconds, and the rat. Oh, I also, because this movie, found out that the word chef just means chief in French. I had no idea, so I'm probably the last one to know that. Like, did you guys know that?
I had no idea.
Okay. But it's like, oh, I see your breasts have grown. Is that true? She's like, I think so. It's like, well, it looks good on you. Anyway, here's your mission. It's so fucking goofy. Like, I think TJ talked about it. They open up a fridge and there's just a lady in like a hotel convenience store living in the fridge. Like, I fucking love this movie, man. Like, it's like right up my alley because
I'm
it's
glad
like
you liked it.
Dark and like kind of gory, but also like just fucking bizarre. Like,
and it's just funny. It's like genuinely funny.
It's like, I haven't really laughed. Like, I'm watching Seinfeld with my girlfriend a lot. She really likes it. And like, I didn't watch it before. So maybe like if I watched it then, I would like it. But there's an episode where Jerry's dating a girl and it's like, she never laughs. She just says, oh, that's funny. Like, that's how I feel about Seinfeld. I'm like, oh, I know. I understand that's funny. But like, I'm like fucking dying when like the nephew is like halfway through his accident in the conversation that they're having. It's like this weird, like almost, Peter Jackson kind of like Dead Alive level slapstick that's going on.
Yeah.
It's really fucking good.
God, you should watch it.
Yeah. I'll give it a look.
But you gotta read it. And, yeah.
Okay.
Like Sean said, it's in the language of cowards.
But it's on a screen and it's moving, so like I don't know if that technically counts as reading. Like, I don't recommend reading a book.
No, but reading a movie.
And I think the thing that's one of the greatest things about the movie is it starts out like insane right away. So if you're not in like the first 5 minutes, you're not gonna like them. Like, the first 5 minutes are fucking hilarious, and it's this like fake Power Rangers fight in this like. Right. You remember how the Power Rangers always fought in these big
desert?
Empty, like,
they're in a desert in France. Like, but it looks exactly like a fucking Power Rangers episode.
Yeah,
and it's like they can't get their cancer powers to work. It's like, you're not being sincere enough.
Yeah. Let's give him cancer. That's what I was thinking.
They said, let's give him a cancer.
A cancer, yes. Oh, you gotta watch it.
What's better, this or Psycho Goreman?
Ooh, I don't know.
I like probably Psycho Goreman. Well, I would say Psycho Goreman's like like easier to recommend because it's
more
like
accessible. Yeah.
Well, it's also like a movie that has a coherent plot. Like, this movie has a coherent plot that it doesn't really forget about, but it just leaves it for big chunks of it. The movie's only an hour long.
Yeah, the middle of this movie turns into like Tales from the Crypt. It's really guys, have you ever seen a movie? Did I ask you this the last time?
It reminded me a lot of The 10 in a way.
Yeah,
love The 10.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
definitely see that. Rubber. Have you seen the movie Rubber?
The one about the tire that kills people with its brain? Yeah, I love that movie. That movie's funny.
Same director.
Oh, I love that movie. Okay. Yeah. All right, I'm here for it.
Yeah, all right. Big recommend. I watched it after I watched the movie we watched first, so that was good.
That was a good palate cleanser. I'm glad you liked it. I
loved it.
I watched it and I immediately was like, Sean, as soon as I saw that, for some reason, I don't know what this says about you, Sean, or me, but like, as soon as I saw that puppet rat, I was like, Sean's gonna love this movie.
I love stupid shit. And like, it's played like deadly seriously. Like, it's not played as a joke.
And the voice of the rat is so serious. Like, you'd think like, okay, like, puppet rat, he'd have like a Rizzo the Rat kind of voice.
No, he has like a regular like French captain voice.
Yeah.
But like, the thing that like, it's so fucking stupid, but like, there's like, I guess spoilers, maybe. There's a part where they're like, it's literally about to be the apocalypse, and the one guy's like, I have to call my kids. And it's like dead ass serious. Like, it's with but meanwhile they cut back to the like, oh, we're having galactic soup again. Like, it's just so fucking dumb. It's like one of those things like I would aspire to write, and then I also would be like, how the fuck did anybody go, yeah, I'll pay for this? Anyway.
Puppets.
Great movie.
Are we ready to get franchised?
Oh God.
We're going to keep this real brief because we're already going an hour. So here we go.
I mean, is Shane Douglas like a huge piece of shit like in real life?
He must be, right?
I don't know much about Shane Douglas, to be honest.
Wait, I know he hates Ric Flair. That I do know.
Yeah, that was one piece of like IMDb trivia. It says it has legit heat with Ric Flair.
Well, I know he's one of these guys that he wrestled in WCW and in WWF. Well, then F, now E.
Yeah.
But like, he's a guy that had a lot of potential, and like, he blames everybody else for not, like, basically not letting him get over.
Yeah.
And then the only promoter that gave him a shot was Paul Heyman in ECW. And who he hates now, which is weird. But like, he was kind of interesting in ECW because his whole gimmick was, you know, you got Sabu and Tommy Dreamer and all these like blood and guts wrestlers.
And he was the wrestler.
Right. He was the like WWF guy. Like, well, no, but he wasn't even a face in that. He actually, his whole gimmick, Gogs, was like, this extreme wrestling is bullshit. Like, it's not like real wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, he represented
he was the anti-ECW wrestler.
He represented kind of the status quo wrestler, which it like is genius, especially back then. And like, he had some good matches. Like, he had some good matches with Taz and stuff. Like, I was a big fucking.
He was also involved in that match. I'm sure if you're familiar with wrestling at all, you've seen that triple threat where everybody throws all those chairs into the ring at once.
Yep. I mean, I met him.
Said he kicked your leg out of your leg one time.
That's right. I met him at an ECW show, and he seemed pretty nice. But that was, you know, in 1997, and he just said hello. You know what I mean? It was like, hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for coming. Like,
I'm gonna put it on Front Street. Shane Douglas is possibly the worst actor I've ever seen in a movie.
He is phenomenally bad.
He is not helped by. He's not helped by the writing, directing, or editing.
I felt so bad for Roddy Parker.
The stunt choreographies were for this movie. Shane Douglas, Roddy Piper, and Kurt Angle.
I don't know why I'm surprised.
Actually, Angle, I feel bad for Angle in this.
I watched a bunch. The credits played. I just let them roll. And like those three guys are the ones who coordinated all the stunts.
Oh,
I want to say that this is the movie that sets the record for me for technically having watched it, but been in the same room as it the least amount of time.
Oh, I was on my phone pretty much the entire time.
I mean, you got laundry to do, you got dishes to do. Like, it's a good opportunity to catch up on housework.
I mean, you know, I was thinking, I always think about this, but I was hearkening back to the days when all of us would watch the movie at Gogs's, and I feel like all of us would have been just on our phones, like nobody's paying attention. We're past the Oreos, like there's.
Yeah, I think I was just, it was bad.
Also, this movie, like, when was this? Did this come out? 2012, 2010, something
14.
Like that? 20. This movie looks like it was shot on a home VHS, like, camcorder from, like, 1986.
You know, I disagree because, like, at least it would look like something if it was shot on, like, some kind of physical media. This is, like, the cheapest of cheap digital fucking photography.
It looks so bad.
It's so flat. Like, nothing's lit correctly.
No, and I'm sorry, Gogs, go with the 5-second plot of this. There's barely a plot in this.
I mean, I don't even understand technically the plot, but go ahead.
All right, here we go.
To be honest.
So here's the deal. Sugar Shane Douglas sees Bald Bull making out with Tara, the Playboy agent, and he's like, well, that's enough of that. And he tombstones him to death. And that creates
he kills him.
He kills him in the ring. So that makes his Irish brother stalk a nurse who has like a weird moment in a compact, and then he sees his brother stalking in the trees to say rip her heart out to make a zombie horde. So then he makes a zombie horde, and then he pays to have a wrestling promotion happening in an abandoned West Virginia prison that still has power for some reason. And then so then not only does he get the promoter, he's like, I just want to have the franchise. Well, I'll throw in Roddy Piper, and I'll throw in Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and I'll throw in Facade because I want to push him, and I'm going to throw in
Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle Kurt Angle's is a bonus. And
here's one problem with the movie. If you're some rinky-dink wrestling promotion or whatever, as far as this other person knows. Well, not how do you get Kurt Angle, but why would you announce him as a surprise? Like, why wouldn't, you would be like, oh, featuring Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle's here.
Also, who are you promoting this show to?
Like, it's not Kurt Angle's movie.
Also, this scene in particular, it reminded me of that scene in Dodgeball where Ben Stiller gives Vince Vaughn he's like, you probably haven't seen $1 million in real life, because he's like, oh, with this amount of money, and he just hands him this.
Who handed that guy $600 bucks? Yeah, it was like there was some ones in the stack. Like he flipped it over. There was legit ones
of $200.
Yeah. They couldn't even fucking Christ, guys.
They couldn't get fake money.
Buy a fucking briefcase and just show him opening it. You don't even have to show the fucking money.
Yeah, that guy had stack on stack on stack on stack.
And he had enough money and I guess the wrestling promoter was either in on it the wrestling promoter lived in a mansion or he met the guy in a mansion. I was like, an independent wrestling promoter is not doing this well, because the next scene was his office, which was clearly just the locker room of an old YMCA.
It said like Extreme Wrestling.
Right.
Yeah,
Extreme Rise.
Yeah. So anyway, we get the franchise did what he did when he do what he do, and then he goes to his family's house and he pals around with
this is the most insane scene in the history of film.
He pals around with his mother, his stupid brother, his brother's impossibly old wife, and his impossibly young nephew. Yeah. And they're like, who's the best grandchild?
Brother lives in.
Yeah, they live in like a plumber's mansion, because who knows what this dipshit's up to. Anyway.
He's arm wrestling with the nephew, and he's like, and that's why I can beat Uncle Shane. He's like, that's franchise to you. It's like, this lunatic makes this
and then Shane,
old boy.
Yeah, and then he takes him down hard. He's not losing to anybody. Yeah. So anyway, they get to the prison. Roddy Piper's kind of like, I don't know what's going on, and then people are getting all silly about what have you. And Matt Hardy's there.
Little known fact: Roddy Piper wasn't actually acting in this movie.
Yeah, I don't think so.
They just gave him $50, like, hey, show up and do whatever you want.
Gogs, you skipped over a pivotal part of this movie that I just didn't understand at all. So this woman shows up. And for the sake of not being a complete asshole, this woman is a very she's a very normal looking woman.
Well, that's the problem. I'm glad you said it, because it's like they play her up as this seductive, sultry, and she's just Jan from
Are we talking about the zombie woman? Or are we talking about
no?
We're talking about
the woman in the white suit.
She's like in and
the redhead.
She shows up for some reason.
She's redheaded, is she not?
The colors are so bad in this movie, maybe. Yeah. But I don't know why she shows up. She shows up, she immediately talks to the promoter, who sexually assaults her in his office.
So this $3 show indie promoter is hiring outside business consultants to look over their books. Is that what I'm to understand her function is?
I thought she wanted to be a wrestler. She's a battle accountant? Is that her job?
She's some kind of corporate entity or business person of some, because she's like, I've been looking over your books, and with the right promotion, but that's what she says.
But they all and again, no, I'm trying to be as nice as possible. The most average,
she's a Baltimore 6.
The most 5-knuckle shuffle 5 you've ever seen, and it's like everyone's
she's a half a degree 6. I wouldn't say she's a Baltimore 6.
Well, it depends on what part of Baltimore, but that's fine. Listen, so anyway,
she lasts to the end of the movie. So
she ends up becoming sort of Roddy Piper's love interest, I guess, because there's this tacked on. Roddy Piper becomes sort of the hero of the movie towards the third act, because Shane Douglas turns heel and kills all his friends. So let's just get through it.
He's been heel the whole time. Call every woman a cunt every 5 seconds.
Oh my god, this movie is in the hilarious cursing. Everybody is just this movie reminds me of something that if you gave a bunch of 16-year-olds a camera and you got to write a script by tomorrow morning. Yeah. be like, fuck this bitch, fuck this cut. Like, it was
Fuck
like,
bitch. Franchise. Can we talk about Shane Douglas' nickname for just 1 second? Because, like, I know it's been like that forever. I know it's supposed to be like, I am the franchise, but, like, that's not really what franchise means, because, like, an NFL team's a franchise. ECW was not a franchise of something else. Like, every time he says his name, I just think of, like, a Pakistani family that owns a Subway.
Yeah, they got
Get ready to get franchised.
Also,
Maybe that's
Sean,
what he meant.
Sean, you'll appreciate. That's funny. Sean, you'll appreciate this.
Yeah.
The whole time in the movie, he's not wearing an official like ECW or an old vintage ECW franchise shirt. He's wearing some new bootleg franchise shirt
him into obliviatory if he wore like any licensed gear in this. After he's like, Vince McMahon's check's late. This guy's check's late. Tim Turner was late. I thought you would be better. I was like, this dude lives in a drawer. Why would you think that?
That was, oh my God, I'm so glad you brought that scene up. That scene, I legit, like, I was drinking and I legit, like, he thinks
also has, like, some of the weirdest blocking I've ever seen. There's like an over the shoulder shot of him, like it's Army of Two, and he's like pointing, like, if I don't have this money in this palm before I get on this bus, you lost the franchise and I'll break your neck just like I did in real life, that guy Pitbull. Like,
oh God. Who died? But not from Shane Douglas killing him, mind
no.
you.
Also, like, Gogs, was it ever, like, explained in any way how ripping out some lady's heart, gross, it turns people into zombies? Because
none of that was explained, but it happened twice. Once to the absolute just puzzlement of Roddy Piper and the redheaded battle accountant who were just like observing from a maintenance shaft hole, because they started they had like a zombie like ritual to make more zombies, like Kurt. So here's what happens. They go to the prison, the band.
Pause. I gotta get this out, I forget. So Matt Hardy is on this bus. Matt Hardy is the second worst actor in movies. He doesn't have any lines. There is a blonde woman who is not mentioned again, who is just absent-mindedly like sucking on his tit the whole ride. Like,
isn't that Rebby Sky or whatever?
No, she shows up later, doesn't she? That's not the same.
No, that's her the whole time, I think.
Is it?
That's her. Yeah. She has different color hair. Yeah.
Everyone has different. The editing in this movie is terrible. Like,
their whole bit is that they're just like fucking the whole time.
They show up at an abandoned prison on a school bus to have a private fight, and Matt Hardy and his girlfriend immediately go to the decommissioned chapel to fuck.
I mean,
you
glossed over the part where the devil tells them the rules of this tournament when they're on the bus.
Well, there's that. There's that, and then there's like. So the band gets there before the wrestlers, and the band gets eaten by the mob, and then the wrestlers show up, and they want to be like, hey, look, we're the band now.
Hey, we've all been to several independent wrestling shows at various venues and promotions. Have any of us ever seen a live band?
I was going to ask. I've never seen that.
That seems way too expensive. I mean, maybe if you went to like a nicer indie, like a PWG or something, but.
We went to fucking, oh shit! What was
ROH?
the one?
We went to ROH.
No, well, we went to ROH, but what was the one where we saw Velveteen Dream? R.I.P.
Oh, MCW.
Yeah. No, MCW.
It was Evolve.
Evolve. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That was up at the MCW arena.
Yeah.
That was
the
Chinese boys.
That was a great show.
Yeah.
Both times I've been up there, the shows have been great. They were much better than this movie.
Oh my God!
We get to see Cody's first.
That's right.
Yeah, first match out of WWE.
Cody, a lot shorter.
When he beat, was it Austin Theory? Is that who he
yes,
wrestled that night?
So, yeah. Yes, it was. And now he's in WWE. It's crazy.
It's wild.
Why is this movie full of wrestlers and all the wrestling's really bad?
Wrestling's terrible.
They're all terrible. They're all terrible wrestlers. They're like the old style, just throw people around. The only one that had any wrestling ability is that dude, the white guy with the dreadlocks.
Facade.
He later on calls him a jobber, and basically throws him to the wolves.
So this movie's really shitty, but there's a few lines that legit broke me. And when Shane Douglas said like main eventers don't like jobbers die, main eventers live, or so. Oh my god!
Yeah, there's a line that made me legitimately laugh. Where Roddy Piper goes, "You're just a classic American bully." Now pause to understand that Roddy Piper is Canadian,
but he said it to an Irishman.
Says it to an Irish guy. Nobody in this scene is American. And
also, the movie ends with Roddy Piper making out with that very plain woman with an American flag flying in the background.
Yeah.
Like, bro, he's not Hogan. Like, Roddy Piper's Canadian.
But like they get on.
In the narrative of the movie, because he's playing himself, doesn't he mention that he has a wife?
Oh yeah.
Doesn't he say like, tell my wife Deborah?
No. That was Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Jim Duggan said, if I die, tell Deborah.
But if he is playing himself, are these like caricatures of himself? Also, when did Jim Duggan show up? Because he shows up in full gear, like a fucking mark. Like
Jim Duggan was already at the prison. Maybe he lives there. I don't know. I don't think the movie knows. I think it's just he's there now, and then Kurt Angle's there with his entourage. Here's what happens. The wrestling motion.
What about the part where Kurt Angle's doing his Olympic slam to the zombies, and it's the theme song is like context driven, like it's like I'm an Olympic medalist with something to prove.
The fucking music in this movie. First of all, it's mixed so poorly. It's the loudest thing. And it keeps getting louder.
Did you guys get the impression that they like forgot to have Foley effects in half the movie because there's like shit that happens where there's no sound attached to it?
But they ADR'd everything.
Every line is ADR'd. It felt like a spaghetti western. Like and I don't know if this happened to you guys, but like there's a song towards the end of the movie where like I didn't adjust the volume. It just kept getting louder and louder. I had to turn the fucking speakers down. I was like, what is going on? Like,
the best ADR line is the one I texted you guys where somewhere, apropos very little, Shane Douglas says, the way he should have enunciated it like a human would is like, I'm going to stretch his ass. Yeah. But the way he says it is, I'm going to stretch his ass. like, oh my God, he's going to gape his bunghole.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, the fucking suffice to say, the fucking promotion goes off the rails very early. Not Sheamus has his army of the dead. All these wrestlers get their little vignettes where they get to kick a little bit of boring ass. Shane Douglas takes a moment to betray everyone, several moments to betray several people. At one point, the woman with the tits dies. I don't know why or how.
Why was she even in the movie?
Couldn't tell you.
And it was funny the way they described
call her a
like,
bitch.
Even
just so they could have more wrestlers in the movie.
Yeah, even Penthouse Pet, whatever her fucking name was.
Yeah.
I was like,
oh.
And then Shane Douglas's line, "You're too indie-licious to fuck with me." Like, what are we?
It was all very cringy, and there was. So then Shane Douglas, and then I guess at some point Shane Douglas goes full heel turn, betrays all of his friends. People, there's the guy who kind of looks like he had the fucking long, beautiful hair and scrawny mustache, like cracked out. Yeah, he didn't look. There's a guy that's not Stifler, and then he gets eaten to pieces, and then all of a sudden the whole movie decides maybe we should make this about Roddy and this Irishman who have no history, but now they're mortal enemies. But then they fight their way up a hill to a war memorial.
I mean, the Scots and the Irish have a pretty rich history of eating.
Yeah.
Good point. But then, so they fight their way up.
Is Roddy Piper's telepathic bond with the head zombie explained? Because like I kind of spaced out.
No, okay. So let's talk about the end of this movie. At the end of this movie, they are overlooking a cliff of L.A. because L.A. is now in West Virginia, and they are going up a hill to a war memorial. Shane Douglas gets to Chris Benoit speed run his own family, who are all zombies now. And then they start fighting each other, and I think he gets choked. He gets choked to death, is choked to death, and then Roddy Piper and the redheaded girl is getting sexually assaulted by zombies while Roddy Piper is getting knocked out. But then they kill one of the lady zombies, and then Roddy Piper can telepathically see through time and planes of space to like the neither dimension where your soul resides, and that's where the dead brother of the Irishman is screaming in agony because one of the two fucking Horcruxes, which are the zombie women, have now been destroyed.
Yeah,
they're releasing his soul to the eternal flame.
Operating on head vampire rules, I guess.
Yeah,
where, like, you kill the lead vampire.
It's like fucking Game of Thrones. You kill the Ice King, and then all the fucking ice people blow up.
So they kill the two lady zombies, then all the zombies go away, and then you get to have America.
Right, because she got bit, but then I guess she gets de-zombified.
The zombies don't exist no more. Also,
these zombies are the most lackadaisical zombies. Like, in
these
the
are the
movie,
worst extras in history.
I shit you.
You can't get through the ropes.
Yeah,
I shit
and they're
you
trying
not.
to do like wrestling moves.
Yeah.
I shit you
like
not.
the zombies are trying to like lock up with them like at the beginning of a match.
Well, nobody locks up anymore. I appreciate their dedication to keeping the business real. Speaking of business shit, TJ, did you notice that they had the ring had like an All Japan apron? Like, who uses a ring like that where it's bisected in triangles?
I'm glad you noticed that. Yeah, I noticed it too. Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? It's like what is it like? I thought Masawa zombie was going to show up. I would have popped huge.
I bet if we were to look up the history and the making of this film, I bet it's a wrestling promoter made it, and I bet he put it out to like the 17 fans of his promotion. Like, do you want to be in a movie?
Well, I know.
And we're going to put a little ketchup on your face, and you get to be a zombie.
Yeah.
Thank God. How much did this cost? Like,
I bet you it cost about the same as smoking causes coughing. I bet you they have similar budgets.
You're probably right. Because this, like, we've watched a lot of like bad movies like that. I mean, we say it all the time, but like, it's barely a movie. Like, this is like, it might have hit a new level of almost being a movie because like, I'm sure we probably have. I can't remember a movie that we've watched that on the production side, like editing, just simple editing and blocking.
There's a scene where Shane Douglas's hands are by his head, and the next frame they're at his side. Like is
like just even like Farce Wars had more competent blocking and editing, and that movie
doesn't it seem like this would be a lot easier setup if they just showed up at the venue and everybody's already a zombie, and you don't have to go through all the other fucking evil wizard bullshit.
Oh, we've talked about this before, but like this movie is barely an hour and a half, and it feels like 4 hours.
There's huge swaths of this movie where the plot just doesn't exist, and when the plot comes back, it's had a sex change and it's a different plot. It's like, all right, well now we're doing this. Like
there's a scene where one of the guys picks up a zombie over his head and rips him in half, which would be cool, but they don't show it, and like it just seems like the zombie fell apart when he picked it up. There's like no motion to it. Also,
but then he gets slimed by it, right? It was like it was like the guy who kept referring to himself in the third person, like Beefio or whatever his name was.
Beefio is pretty good. Right, so whoever mentioned bad editing, like the fucking King Kong of terrible edits in this movie is Roddy Piper is supposedly hitting a guy with a crowbar, and they keep cutting to the guy, and it looks like he's just taking a nap. Like there's no impact. The crowbar is nowhere near the frame with him, and then it cuts back to Roddy Piper, who is like at this point is just the maniac from It's Always Sunny. Like, swinging like a fucking madman, and it cuts back to this guy just like fucking just placid laying there. I'm like, what is going on?
Is that the scene where Roddy Piper has the iconic line of "I hate zombies"?
Well, where he's like, well, this is fucking ridiculous.
Well, doesn't he he brains Hacksaw Jim Duggan to put him out of his misery, but you never see it.
That's
right.
Scene. Oh,
and then like
God.
he picks up Hacksaw's, favorite 2x4, but he picks up on the bloody end and not the dry end, and I don't know why that bothered the shit out of me, but it did.
I loved how that was supposed to be like the emotional, like
that was the emotional beat of the whole movie. That was it, man.
All right, let's get to Five Knuckle Shuffles. We've just talked about this enough. Five Knuckle Shuffle time. John Cena drives a Honda Civic R. Is that a nice car?
I saw that.
Nice car. I mean, whatever.
I like what he's describing it.
Yeah, I like that video.
He's like,
he seems such a cool guy.
He's like, I forget who's interviewing. Is it Jimmy Fallon or somebody? They're like, what? He's like, it's a reliable car.
Yeah.
It's economical. It's fast. I fit into it, no problem.
What does that mean? Gogs, you like cars. He says it's got tech. What the hell does that mean?
I mean, it's probably got like all sorts of like TVs and shit in it. Like it's got like.
But he's talking about he's like
not a VTEC engine.
He's like when
but also has that too. Probably
you're driving a Countach, the clutch is like a dogfight. I'm like, yeah, John. I don't have any fucking idea what you're talking about.
Like, I'll never get the image of him in his big ass suit playing "Where Is My Mind" on the piano. Like, that shit lives rent free in my head forever.
He's the best.
I just love him as Lance Cadmoran all the time.
He's like, I'm just gonna learn Chinese for whatever.
Yeah, that him Bing Chilling that shit. That lives.
You guys all heard the really charming story about him with the whole Ukrainian conflict?
No.
There was the poor kid who had to leave somewhere, Mariupol, somewhere. The kid had Down syndrome, and his family was like, "Listen, we're going to go to Kiev so you can meet John Cena." Like, that was how they got him to leave the house, to leave a war zone.
That's how they get me to leave the house.
And John Cena caught word of this and flew to Ukraine and met the kid.
Jesus Christ.
He's fucking amazing. Just make him new Jesus. Like, all right, 5 knuckle shove time. Alec.
0.
Sorry.
It's a 10.
I feel stupid for wasting my annual 0 on maximum convict.
Who knew?
Who knew? This would be the worst WWE Easter ever.
Yeah.
Like,
statistically,
I'm just glad that next week hopefully we'll get back to at least real movies again. Hopefully. This is the 0.
Yeah.
I gotta go against my own rules. It's a 0.
It deserves it.
It is insane how terrible it is. It's so bad.
Yeah.
And I think Gog started listing them people last week, and he was like, Roddy Piper. I was like, okay. And then I was like, Kurt Angle. I was like, oh. Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Oh.
You love Kurt Angle, though.
I like Kurt Angle. I don't like him as an actor.
No, fair.
It makes you wonder how people that basically have acted their entire adult lives are so bad at it.
Yeah, true.
Well, he's not even good at it, in wrestling storytelling.
He was pretty good. I don't know.
He was good because he was able to get over with his weird endearingness.
I guess he was good.
Over eagerness.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It wasn't because he was a great actor.
Oh my God, have you ever seen the promo he cut where they're trying to get him to heel on John Cena, and he's like, you know what? I don't care much for the black people or Jesus Christ.
What about the
hysterical?
Isn't there a promo that he cut where he basically said he's a pedophile? Well,
there's the one where he said he wanted to have bestiality sex with Sean Bell.
That's the oh, God.
Jesus Christ. That's Jason Jordan's father.
Oh boy.
But yeah, this movie's fucking terrible. It's not even a movie. This is Shark Exorcist.
Yeah.
Or Shark. What was that other shark one we watched?
Land Shark.
Land Shark. This isn't even a film. The 4 of us could put together something at least
way
of
gayer.
This quality, probably better.
I don't know where exactly this is, but it seems funny to me that it seems very appropriate. This movie was shot in some place called Parkersburg, West Virginia.
Yeah, all the credits at the end there was 15 thank yous to different cities and communities, and they were all Pennsylvania and West Virginia. I'm assuming Western PA out in coal country.
Yeah, that's where it is.
Well, that makes sense because this is the Fallout 76 of movies.
Yeah, that tracks.
Also, on the wiki, it says it was Kickstarted, but it doesn't say the budget.
On the Wrestlers vs. Zombie wiki?
Yeah. Well, no, on this fucking, oh my God, I'm going to send it to you guys, but the fucking poster for this movie is it looks like something that somebody slapped together in MS Paint. It's so bad. Also, for some reason, it shows the kiss between the plain-looking woman and Roddy Piper on the poster. It's unbelievable.
Spoilers. Give you a boner.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's a 0. I don't know what else to say. Yeah.
It's also a 0. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is probably the most incompetent movie we've ever watched. Like maybe ever. I'm sure you could.
Land Shark was pretty.
This is worse.
This is the most incompetent movie with, like, between all these wrestlers, they should have been able to get somebody in that could at least, like, hold a camera.
Yeah, I mean, like, that, yeah.
Well, I'll say this is the most incompetent movie featuring people that you've heard of prior to the movie. I mean, how's that?
That's a good way.
Land Shark's, like, really bad and terrible, but, like,
yes.
I feel like, I mean, maybe I have to go back and watch it, but, like, at least, like, most of the editing made sense. Like, in at least some sort of.
Well, it's just because they didn't edit it.
Like, this movie, like, the editing is so. I guess, like, the thing is about editing, because everybody always, like, I always hear this around, like, Oscar time when best editing wins, and people are like, what's, like, good editing? It's like, I have an easier time telling you what bad you shouldn't notice editing, right?
Good editing you shouldn't notice, right?
And, like, this is the most noticeable editing I've ever seen, coupled with the fact that the plot is awful. All the actors are really bad. Shane Douglas is, like, the hero for the movie, but he's, like, a piece of shit the whole time. And then Roddy Piper, I guess it's like a fucking No Country for Old Men type situation where it's like, oh, you think Llewellyn's the main character? Oh no, it's Tommy Lee Jones. Like, maybe Cormac McCarthy had a pass on this script.
It would be if Roddy Piper's like, my dad used to tell me about this dream he had about horses.
also, like, I feel bad for Piper.
I feel terrible for him.
We've talked about Piper before.
I feel worse for him now.
He's like, he's still trying. Like, God bless it. Like, you can't tell because, one, you can't hear his dialogue, and two, again, the blocking and editing and the overall direction is so bad, but you can tell he's still doing something. Everybody else is just bad.
It's gotta be weird for him. It's like, I worked with John Carpenter, and now I'm working with this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, also, there's a movie that I watched this on Amazon. Amazon recommended to me afterwards that I have to watch called Jungle Land that Piper is in.
I saw that on there.
It sounded like The Warriors, but it's like in the post-apocalyptic wastelands.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's go.
The Rocker Boys have to fight the Google blocks, and I'm like, okay, I need to watch that.
The Rocker Boys.
It's something like
Google blocks.
I couldn't think of it. This movie is so fucking bad. And again, like, I just don't understand this movie. Like, they have this, like, penthouse pet, but they decide to not make her the girl that, like, everyone's fawning over. Like, I don't get. There's a part in this movie where they're, like, running away from the zombies, and they're like, oh, here's this, like, secret corridor behind these cardboard boxes. Like, what?
It's a secret corridor that drops into a hallway, and then Matt Hardy, who I've seen take a dive off of a 20-foot ladder, couldn't fall 6 feet correctly.
He gets like an ankle injury.
Why couldn't he just do his, like, delete shit? Like, he's fun. He can do stuff.
This was pre-delete, though.
Yeah.
This was backspace.
Shockingly enough, the guy that directed this, Cody Knotts, has made several other films.
Well, there you go.
Including Gore Orphanage, Lucifer's
Orphanage.
Why did they go for Orphanage?
I feel like that came up recently. Like,
I brought it up last week when we were talking about it. That was
okay.
Gore Orphanage, Lucifer's Unholy Desire, which, if it's not a porno, I will eat my hat. Keckberg. Oh God, Sean.
Like
pectorals? Oh
no, Keck.
And then
it's like deep alt-right shit.
Yeah, and then another movie called Breeding Farm. Jesus Christ!
Is it about that Chinese breeding farm?
This guy is like irrevocably horny.
Also, a staggering overall a 3 out of 10 score and a 2.2 score on Letterboxd. Anyway,
we still have to watch Cuck one day.
Birthday pick next year. The guy should be put in jail for this movie. It's terrible. And also for just besmirching the good name of Troma, because I love Troma, and as the Troma credits. Terra Firma. This is just terrible.
This is the kind of movie that, like, I used to make fun of people that were into trauma. This is the kind of movie that, like, I acted like those movies were.
Yeah, it's fucking awful. Is everybody still here? What, I lose connection? What happened here?
Yeah,
something we happen to have a second. Yeah.
No, okay. Gogs.
It's a 0. It's not good. It's very not good. All the reasons. Everyone sucks in it. I hate it. I hate myself for suggesting it. And that's basically going to be it. There also, I just want to point out that for some reason, this abandoned prison had a locker room full of machetes that the business accountant found, and they didn't follow any zombie rules because they were killing zombies by cutting their throats, and that's not how zombies work. And this movie sucks. See previous comments. I hate it. 0, Sean.
It's a 0 for me. It's, like a lot of times we say a movie didn't need to be made. Like, this movie should not have been made, and like there should be regulations in place to prevent things like this from happening. Like, it's just the fucking dirt worst. Like, this is fucking embarrassing. Like, I would be embarrassed if somebody was watching this with me. Like, I'm doing it for the show. It's like, you getting paid? It's like, no, I do it for fun, I guess. Like,
fun in air quotes.
Yeah, like, there's nothing redeeming about it.
At least you watch Smoking Causes Coughing after.
Yeah. It's like fucking, it's like a zombie movie should not be complicated. Like, when you overcomplicate shit like that, it's like, oh, this is bad news already. And Shane Douglas is just like, he's got X-Pac heat with me in this fucking movie. Like, it is just like, get off the screen. The franchise, bitch. You're gonna get franchised, you whore. I never loved you, you bitch. Like, it also makes independent wrestling inadvertently look like the saddest shit on earth because they go to, like, maybe the worst pizza spot in America to throw water on each other. Like, they can't even spend for a fucking soda. Like, this bitch is drinking glass of tap water with her pizza.
The pizza spot, I don't know why, but did you all notice that they, like, blocked off the one side of the pizza, like, there was, like, a countertop, and they just blocked it off by, like, a stack of empty pizza boxes, and it was like, why did you do that? Like,
because they're not shutting down the fucking pizza restaurant for this bullshit movie.
No, they just shot this during like a slow lunch.
Like, like a lot of places do that. They'll like box up a bunch of extra boxes and stack them wherever.
It's just
I
really
like to think
strange.
It was the pizza restaurant. I was like, I can't even look at this shit. This is horrendous.
But don't associate me with this movie.
What the fuck is your problem? What the fuck is your problem? Sorry about your piece of ass, Rod. Like, this is bad.
Whitney's Pizzeria of wherever West Virginia does not want to be associated with this, with zombies versus pro wrestlers.
Yeah, man. Like, this is like, you know, I remember when, like, The Marine was a bad movie. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
First one? Like, holy shit. Like, if we do this next year, we gotta, like, make some kind of fucking, like, ground level agreement as to how bad the movie can actually be, because, this is, like...
I agree with you guys. I think it's time. Maybe we'll bring it back, but I think it might be time to retire. Maybe we gotta let WWE cook for a few years.
Yeah, like, maybe just do, like, all John Cena movies or something. I don't know, man. Sure. Like, yeah. I fucking can't. Like,
Gogs, congratulations. You tombstone.
You killed the fucking
oh my God.
cornerstone month.
Before we leave this film, I talked about a few lines of this movie that killed me, but, you know, Shane Douglas is like, yeah, I killed him by giving him a bad tombstone. And fucking Hacksaw goes, you didn't kill him. He didn't tuck it in his neck.
Yeah.
Like, oh, God.
Like, were you there, Hacksaw, at this weird indie promotion?
It just really sucks. How were you supposed to know that his brother was a Scottish wizard?
It's just funny because, like, whether it's intentional or not, like, wrestlers, when, like, really horrible shit happens, like, they're like cops. They always defend the business. And like, so like, that is like probably one of the most honest like lines in the whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
It's just funny to me.
It's like, where the fuck did you come from? And where's your shirt? You're such a mark. Like, who fucking rolls? Everybody rolls in. Franchise is wearing his fucking tights everywhere, dog. Like, this shit is terrible.
Anyway. All right.
Mom, I'm thinking about going back to wrestling.
Also, this movie wasn't even like.
Oh yeah, Shane Douglas also kills his whole family. By the way, like I think
including his like cousin or his nephew,
who he loves.
He tries to emote when he breaks his neck, and it's fucking hilarious. Don't you dare! This movie wasn't even good enough to give it like a proper title. Like Pro Wrestlers versus Zombies is the most like Madden created team name you could come up with. You know?
Yeah.
All right. What's next month, Mr. Alec?
Next month is Emilio Estevez.
Ooh,
nice.
Ooh, I don't know. I don't have. You guys got a pick? Who has a pick?
I got one.
All right. Go ahead.
Free Jack.
Didn't we already watch?
Well, we already did.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna go with. I'll burn off Men at Work because I feel like that's coming no matter what.
Right. All right.
Okay.
I think I know what I'm gonna pick because I've never.
The only
seen
one
it.
I can think of is this one, and there's one with him and Charlie Sheen where they play like pornographers. I think it's a biopic. I don't remember what the fuck it's called.
So I can already tell you. Well, I might change my mind, but I think my pick's gonna be The Outsiders because I've never seen it, but I've heard people talk about it for pretty much my entire life.
Yeah, because we already did both Young Guns, right? So
we only did the first Young Guns.
Oh,
or no, did we do both?
Did both.
We did both. We did both within like 2 weeks. We haven't done Maximum Overdrive, have we?
Oh no, shit.
That's my pick. Maximum Overdrive.
Let's do that next week then. I want to think about mine again.
Didn't we do both Young Guns? I swear
we did do both Young Guns.
Yeah,
I thought we also done Maximum Overdrive, but maybe we haven't.
No.
Well, my pick when it comes up is Maximum Overdrive.
Let's do Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to get either a Mighty Ducks movie or Loaded Weapon.
Oh, I love Loaded Weapon.
Dude, Loaded Weapon. Oh my god, what the hell is this? He's in a movie called L.A. Riot Spectacular.
He's in a movie called Repo Man?
Yeah, we watched that.
Yeah.
You're doing your thing. All right, so we're watching Maximum Overdrive?
Yeah.
Okay, hell yeah.
I had an idea.
A lot of Estevez flicks. I didn't realize that.
At least St. Elmo's Fire.
Do we have an October?
Maximum Overdrive, directed by Stephen King.
Yep.
October.
Didn't they have to license the Green Goblin face for that movie from Marvel?
Yep. And it cost like half the budget.
I have a pitch for October. It's a stretch, but
go ahead.
Dominoc Tourette-tober, and it could be all Fast and the Furious movies.
I'm gonna be sucking my dad's dick that whole month. I'm not interested.
No.
Fine.
I mean, you could just wait until February to do the Fast of the February.
We're better. Dominoc Tourette-tober.
Dominoc Tourette-tober. That's like, how did you even come up with that?
That's you and your Sylvester Stallone bullshit.
Sylvester Stallone was lightning in a pan. It'll never happen again. Please stop.
So, on deck we have Emilio Estevez. We have June Bernthal. Fourth of Cloned Guy, which was TJ's terrible attempt. 4th of July.
I love it. Are you kidding? That's a good one.
August
Clone movie?
Oh, I'm picking that Will Smith movie.
Yeah.
August is Murphy's Law, all Eddie Murphy movies.
Dropkick Murphy's movie.
September, Stiff-tember. I guess movies with Stifler in them because Sean wants to watch
Bulletproof Monk.
And then November we have Thanksgiving, so we don't have October.
All right. Well,
all right.
Come up with something else. I do not want to watch 4 Fast and
Furious. But we're gonna still Death Wish You a Merry Christmas, right? For December.
I like that one.
All Charlie Bronson movies.
Or you could pick the Bruce Willis remake.
Let's not do that.
That's a Death Wish movie. It's not.
You've already seen that. Don't make us do it.
I saw it. It's not horrible.
Is it better than RoboCop 2017 or whatever?
Yeah, actually, yeah. It's watchable, whereas that movie is not.
All right. Later.
All right, everybody.
Later, bitches.
All right, so, Maximum Overdrive next week. Can't wait.
Get it on the Plex.
Haven't seen that movie since I was like a little kid. I'm very excited.
The whole resolution to that, just they want gas.
I think so, if I remember correctly.
Also Mad Max. Yeah.
All right.
All right, everybody. Bye. Shout out to Tucker Carlson.